Hello, today we'll be talking about the histology of spinal cord. The cord lies within the vertebral canal. It is continuous with the medulla oblongata. The lower part of the cord is conical called as the conus medullaris. This conus is continuous below with a fibrous cord, which is a modification of pyometer called as filum terminale. The spinal cord extends from the upper border of C1 vertebra to the lower border of L1. So level is variable. The cord may terminate one vertebra higher or lower. Also the position of the spine, according to the position of spine, especially during flexion or extension, the level of the cord will vary. The cord is covered by dura mater, arachnoid mater and pyometer. The pyometer is a pale staining fibrous material which surrounds the spinal cord. It contains blood vessels. This pyometer dips into the fissures and sulci. The spinal cord contains enlargements, especially the cervical region and lumbosacral region. So both these enlargements are present to accommodate the motor neurons to supply the respective limbs, that is upper limb and lower limb. So in cervical enlargement extends from the fourth cervical to the second thoracic segments, while lumbosacral extends from second lumbar to the third sacral cord segments. So we take a section of the spinal cord. We are going to see the anterior median fissure and posterior median sulcus. Both these divide the cord almost completely into two symmetrical halves. The anterior median fissure is deep long cleft which contains the anterior spinal artery. The posterior median sulcus is a faint long groove. So this contains the neuroglial tissue. Apart from this, we are going to see the posterior lateral sulcus, where the dorsal root of spinal nerves emerge, and anterolateral sulcus, where the ventral root of spinal nerves emerge. Apart from this, in the upper 5 or 6 segments of cervical, that is cervical segments, we are going to find midway between the anterior and posterior rootlets another rootlets, that is the rootlets of spinal root of axillary nerve will emerge. So this is seen only in the upper 5 or 6 cervical segments. Coming to the white matter. So the white matter is present outer, while the inner you are going to find is the grey matter. So this white matter surrounds the H-shaped grey matter. It appears white because majority of fibers are insheathed within the myelin and cell bodies are absent. The anterior area lies between the anterior median fissure and the anterolateral sulcus, so it contains the tracts of the anterior white funiculus. The lateral area, which lies between the anterolateral and the posterolateral sulcus, so it is occupied by the tracts of the lateral white funiculus. The posterior area between the posterolateral sulcus and the posterior median septum is occupied by the tracts of the posterior white funiculus. This area is further subdivided in the cervical and upper thoracic segments into medial and lateral parts by the posterior intermediate septum. So the fibers originate from the cell bodies lying either in the grey matter of brain, spinal cord or ganglia. So it contains ascending and descending nerve fibers. The fibers are organized into tracts. There are separate motor and sensory tracts. So here try to identify the central grey matter and the peripheral white matter. The central grey matter contains a canal called as the central canal. The white matter identify the anterior median fissure and the posterior median sulcus. Apart from this, identify the anterolateral and posterolateral sulcus and identify the anterior, lateral and posterior funiculus. So coming to the grey matter, so this is within the white matter and it is H-shaped. It contains cell bodies of neurons and nerve fibers. It appears grey as it contains more cells and less myelin. So it contains two horns, the anterior horn and the posterior horn. Apart from this, in the thoracic region, there's additional lateral horn. So try to identify in the section the lateral horn. So see the grey matter of the right and left halves of the spinal cord are connected across the midline by a grey commissure. So this is traversed by a central canal. So this central canal contains the cerebrospinal fluid and it is lined by ependyma. Now coming to the sections. So identify the cervical section. So we are having cervical section, thoracic section, lumbar and sacral sections. So we'll take up each one of these separately. The cervical section, so this appears oval, especially in the lower cervical region. There is abundant white and grey matter. So white matter is more than grey matter. While when you see the posterior funiculus, try to differentiate the fasciculus gracilis, which is lying medially, and the fasciculus cuneatus lying laterally. So same thing, try to identify the fasciculus gracilis, which is lying medially. You can see the arrow, and fasciculus cuneatus lying laterally. So this is the cervical region. So next, going on to the thoracic region. So the section appears small and rounded. Both the grey matter and white matter both are less compared to other regions, and it is classically H-shaped. But very important feature, you can see the lateral horn. Same thing, the H-shaped, typical H-shaped grey matter, and when you compare to other regions, both grey matter and white matter both are less, and identify the lateral horn, so which is typical of this region. Coming to the lumbar region, here the section appears oval, but when you compare it with the cervical region, it is smaller. Grey matter is more compared to white matter, whereas in cervical region the white matter was more. Same thing here, the lumbar region. So it is oval but not as large as the cervical region. Gray matter is more compared to the white matter. Coming to the sacral region, the cord is small and rounded, but gray matter is more and white matter is very less. So it's almost thin, peripherally situated white matter. So here you can again identify the small and round segment of the sacral region. Gray matter is more and a thin periphery of white matter present. Now we'll compare all the segments. So coming to the cervical segment is large and oval, whereas in lumbar segment also is large, but it is not as large as that of the cervical region, whereas thoracic and sacral both are small and rounded. When you take the gray matter, it is typically H-shaped in thoracic region. Other regions also you are finding it is H-shaped. And try to identify the central canal. In the cervical region, the white matter is more compared to that of the gray matter. Whereas in sacral region, the gray matter is more and white matter is less. In cervical region, the white matter is comparatively greater than gray matter. Thoracic region, both white and gray matter is less. But in lumbar region, gray matter is more than white matter. Similarly, in sacral region, gray matter is more and the white matter occupies only the periphery, a thin peripheral part is going to occupy. Apart from this, we are going to find in the cervical region, the posterior funiculus contains the gracilis, fasciculus gracilis and the fasciculus cuneatus. These are additional tracts. Whereas in thoracic region, we are going to find the lateral horn, so which is a classical feature compared to the other regions. So this is related to the sympathetic system. So coming to the MCQs, at birth, the lower end of spinal cord lies at the level of L1, L3, S2 and S4. The answer is B, that is L3. The total number of spinal segments is 30, 31, 32 and 33. The answer is B, that is 31. In adults, the length of spinal cord is 25 centimeters, 35 centimeters, 45 centimeters or 55 centimeters. The answer is C, that is 45 centimeters. Ligamentum denticulatum is an extension from pia mater, posterior longitudinal ligament, ligamentum flavum or dura mater. The answer is A, that is pia mater. Cervical enlargement of the spinal cord extends between which of the following spinal segments? C1 and C8, C1 and T2, C4 and C8, C4 and T2. The answer is D, that is C4 and T2. The lower motor neurons are located in the dorsal root ganglia, pontine nucleus, sympathetic chain, anterior gray column of spinal cord. The answer is D, anterior gray column of spinal cord. Which of the following is the most posterior in the dorsal gray column of spinal cord? Substantia gelatinosa, nucleus dorsalis, nucleus proprius, visceral afferent nucleus. The answer is A, substantia gelatinosa.